With this session update, I'm Shannon Lurkey. At a recent meeting of the Senate Agriculture, Rural Development and Housing Committee, members considered a grant program to improve farm safety and a proposed grain storage facility safety curriculum. Here are some highlights from that meeting.
As many of you know, the trend in Minnesota has been some fatal accidents. We've had 8 in Minnesota in the last year, and that trend was tragically brought home in my district August 14th of 2019 with the loss of high school senior Landon Gran. What we're asking this committee to do is to pass this bill on to the Agriculture Finance Committee, and in order to give you a sense of why we feel this is so important, I've asked the mother of Landon, Michele Gran, who's seated here at my left, to give some brief testimony. I hope that'd be okay, Mr. Chair.
Very good. Welcome, Mrs. Gran, and please identify yourself for purposes of the record, and you may proceed when you're ready.
Hello to all. My name is Michele Gran. I'm sorry.
No, that's fine.
My name is Michele Gran. Our son, Landon, is not a statistic. He was our son. He was a brother. He was a friend. He was a boyfriend, a grandson. And he died alone in a grain bin. Against OSHA's rules and regulations of 2 people being with you, anytime when you're working around a grain bin, having 2 with him. He was alone for hours, found on an empty grain bin floor. This death was preventable, and that is my point. We need to prevent the preventable. I'm asking you to please help me, our family, and every farm family that this possibly could happen to, and we never know when, we never know why, but we know it will happen again. It's not only our family that's suffering. This needs to start in Minnesota, and it needs to go federal. We need to get attention to this, into the Capitol, and get regulations changed throughout the country. But let's start in Minnesota.
Can you just touch on some ideas that you have? Because I think you've been part of these ideas that are coming forward in front of our committee.
Yes,
to your point of preventable, and I ask it because that's really helpful for us to hear.
Sure. What
could be done to prevent these.
My son was caught in a grain sweep. A grain sweep, I don't know if we all are familiar with it. It's pivots in the middle of a grain bin and sweeps the grain to the center and out through an auger into a loading. The grain sweep that my son was caught in was a gear-driven grain sweep that his pant leg got caught on because the shield on the grain sweep does not cover the full auger. What I would propose is that we come up with a grain shield that would go the full length of an auger, but still have the capacity for grain to flow through freely. It will not take up any more space in the bin, so that's really not an argument. Another proposal I have is paracord ladders or a ladder of some sort that is connected to the ceiling of a bin that will hang down in a bin. So if a farmer would happen to get himself into a position where he cannot get out, he has the opportunity to grab onto one of these paracord ladders, which if he's stuck, at least the responders would know where in the bin he is. Another one is PTO auger shaft covers. The older equipment, the older farm tractors that a lot of the farmers that are using have an open PTO, most of them. I know there are guards out there, but I'm proposing that this be something that they could be used with this grant money, is to cover up these PTO shafts. I've caught myself, I've caught my husband, my kids climbing over these PTO shafts, which is so easily, their pant leg could get caught in and they could rip an arm off, a leg off.
The first provision is language in the bill that was introduced today on the Senate floor that would allow grants up to 75% of cost for farmers that buy basic safety kits or silo monitoring kits, and modeled after the tractor rollover grants that we've had, with the idea that there could be private matching money from grain bin storage companies or other companies, silo companies, or others, nonprofits, farm groups, or the farmers themselves, but they would get a grant or a reimbursement for some of those costs as a way to put some emphasis on the importance of grain bin safety and silo monitoring. You probably recall in the news right before Christmas, in my district, a town not too far away from Elbow Lake, little town of Millerville, northwest part of Douglas County, northwest of Alexandria. I show up at church, and everyone's talking about the tragic accident that happened the day before. And a father had went in to open up the silo and was overtaken by some gases of the fermentation that goes on the silo. And for some reason, it wasn't as far along in the process, or whatever the issue was, it overtook him, and his two boys were down on the ground. And as I've read and heard, the one son went up to check on him to help, and it overtook him. And the other son called the uncle who came over, and your first instinct is to do anything you can to help. His brother, the children's uncle, also was overcome by the gases in the silo just before this last Christmas. By raising this issue and putting some matching dollars, one-time dollars out there, perhaps we can help raise the profile and change the mindset that we need to have some of these basic tools available to prevent such tragic accidents. And so that's the idea behind the provision one. The second provision of the amendment to Senator Draheim's bill, he's talked about education and developing more educational materials in response to Landon's tragic accident and others that we've read about. Working with the universities and extension services to develop educational materials for 4-H, for FFA, and our young students as they're going through ag classes in school and elsewhere. So there is more curriculum on this and ways to help prevent these preventable accidents. And the third provision is to work with the universities and others to develop a technology, an app, as Landon's mother just told us, maybe a watch. The technology we live in today, the technology that's available, it's very conceivable to, I think, all of us that there should be ways to shut these powerful devices down when you're stuck in a life-threatening situation. And 25 years ago, that probably wasn't possible short of a switch. There's apps for everything nowadays, and by bringing the attention to this and highlighting this issue with our universities and the great technology and research capabilities we have, we wanted to bring this type of technology to the forefront and to our farms and farmers, and both through education and availability, make sure we can have these simple but significant safety measures brought forward in our state and help prevent these preventable tragic farm accidents.